Hey guys, welcome to Southerntrace Camping, where my job is to give you as much information as I can on the different parks we go to, like what are the best spots, what are the spots to stay away from, what are things you should be concerned about. Also, I'll do repairs on travel trailers from every now and then, and if I can, I'll record those videos. But today is one of my favorite things to do, and that is to bring you an interesting product that might be something that helps you. I love finding new and cool toys for travel trailers, but today we're going to be talking about this product called trailer legs. Now, I have a set of these under my travel trailer right now. I wish I had done this review while I still had this in my hand so you could see it up close and personal, but it's under my trailer right now, so I'm just going to explain how these work and what they're for. What they do is they use your tow vehicle and you put these blocks in place, and you either back onto them or you place these blocks in front of your axles and pull onto them, and they gently lift your travel trailer up off the ground. Now, the purpose for this is to get the weight off of your tires while it's being stored, or you can use these while you're camping, which I just did on our last trip, but I'll tell you about that experience here in just a minute. Now, these blocks weigh about 10 pounds a piece, okay? And they are heavy duty blocks. And each one of these blocks is rated to hold 4,000 pounds. Now, you need one block for each side of an axle, so that's 8,000 pounds it can lift. Now, if you got a tandem axle, then you're looking at 16,000 pounds, and then triple axle is 24,000 pounds. So I was a little bit leery of these things when I first saw them, but I was very intrigued by them as well. The reason I was so leery of them is because I've always heard you never ever mess with the trailer axles. I mean, it's like written in red in the travel trailer Bible. You don't mess with your axles, right? But before we go any further, let me show you a little clip on how these work so you can kind of get a feel for how these things raise your travel trailer up, okay? So take a look at this. Okay, so that's how they work. It was very simple. Now, in that video, you may have noticed that at the end, my truck rocked back a little bit. I was parked on kind of a slope, and I didn't set my park brake, and it rocked back about an inch. Just pulled it back forward, set the park brake, and it was fine. Now, these things can actually work as wheel chocks, but I wouldn't advise using them on a very steep grade. Now, how they work is basically you're going to have this thing like this. Pretend your axle is right here, okay, and this is the angle for backing onto it. This is what they call the toe, and it grabs the concrete, and then as you're backing up, it rotates to that position, and then you go on back till you feel the second bump, and now it's vertical, and all your weight is pushing straight down right through here. Now, this still, I wanted to do a lot of research on this project. I didn't want to just jump into this thinking it was going to be the best thing ever. I went around to I went to 2 different axle shops here in my hometown that all they do is replace axles and straighten axles. And I was asking them about what is the worst thing on travel trailers. Because I've always heard you never change a tire with a jack on the axle. Well, they addressed that. They said, well, you can actually get right next to that leaf spring shackle and jack it up, which I have done. I've blown a tire. I had no other choice but to do it that way. Now, if you have something that can get to the frame, that's even better. But if they said if you're right next to that leaf spring shackle, you're fine. And their analogy was, how is that any different than one tire being in a pothole if you're stopped, one tire's in a pothole and the other one's on flat pavement, the axle's at an angle? Well, you're doing the same thing with that jack. I mean, you're pushing up right where the suspension's at. Some people will argue that. I don't know. This is what I was told. So anyway, they said the main thing that people do that messes their axles up is they jack up their trailer because they're wanting to get their tires off the ground. So what do? They jack up their trailer and they put a jack stand in there, and then they release the pressure on it off the jack, and it comes down on a jack stand like this. Now, here's the problem. This is only an inch wide. So now you've taken and put all that weight for that side on a very thin surface. And what that does is it creates a stress point, basically just a stress point to where you've got all that weight on a very small surface area, to where when it's out there on your tires, it's spread out over about 4 or 5 inches it's touching the ground. So that's what happens. Even if you're going to jack up the other side and put a jack stand under it, you've still had that time in between where all that pressure is on a very small surface area. The great thing about these, what you can see in this photo, is this is 4 inches across, okay, and it's grabbing both sides of the axle at the same time. So on mine, I've got 4 axles, and as you watch that video, all of them went up at the same time, which means the axle stayed perfectly straight, okay. There was no bend in it. So that kind of, talking to them and doing that research with an actual trailer shop kind of made me a little bit more in favor of these. I mean, I wasn't so scared of them anymore. These things weigh, like I said, about 10 pounds a piece. When you order them, they send free shipping. Now, they're 160 per set. So it's 160, then 320, and then I think, what is that, 480 for the triple axle, depending on how many sets you get. Now, I mentioned earlier that I used these when we went camping, okay? And before I get to that, let me say this, that why would you need these? The number one reason for tires blowing out is they sit too long in one spot and get a flat spot. And it can affect the sidewalls and the tread side of it. And you don't know it. They look good to you. They feel good. You have enough air pressure in them. You take off on your trip. You get 30, 40, 50 miles down the road and you have a blowout. That blowout can do a ton of damage to your vehicle. I've had one. I lucked out. I didn't do very much damage. But for me, the bigger issue is safety of my family. You are a sitting duck on the side of a highway or interstate. And to me, if I can take steps to avoid them being hit or avoid us being on the side of the road, I'm going to do that. So this doesn't necessarily prevent a blowout, but it puts the odds in your favor, okay? So this product won the 2017 SEMA award for the best new tool. I mean, that's a pretty big award to get for something. I'm really very impressed with this product. Now, I mentioned that we went camping with it, okay? These things, they had just come on UPS like hours before we left. I threw them in the bed of the truck and off we went. Got to the campsite, I told my wife, I'm gonna go ahead and use them. All I did was I backed onto them just like in that video and put the tongue jack down just a little bit, just to get a little bit of pressure off the truck, and we camped. And I wanted to see, because they claimed that it would knock down a ton of the shake and wiggle in your travel trailer when you're walking around, and they were right. It did way more than my X-Chalks ever did. I have 3 kids, and every now and then you would feel a shimmy or a shake whenever they would jump like off a top bunk or something. You're not going to eliminate all of it, but I did that the first night without any stabilizers, and it worked great. Second night, I put the stabilizers down, and it even multiplied the amount of stability. So I highly recommend, if you're at a spot that's very level, that you try them and use them and see what you think. You won't be disappointed. I want you to know I'm getting nothing out of this at all from Trailer Legs. You can go to trailerlegs.com and look at these things. They've got the how-to videos on how to back onto it in case you like to see how they do it in forward and reverse. I bring this to you because I believe it's a great product that might save you some tire failures. I understand there's going to be some of you that are going to say, there is no way I'm doing that. Man, I understand that. I respect it. For me, I'm going to use it. If I see there's ever a problem with this, I will post another video and let you know. But I don't foresee that being an issue. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you this awesome product. Hope you check it out. Hope that you get to use it. If you found this video helpful in any way, please like my Facebook page or YouTube page, Southerntrace Camping. That's one word, Southerntrace. And I plan on bringing you more videos that to try to help you, to make you have the best trips possible with your family. So, as always, guys, get out there, have fun, make tons of memories, be safe, and God bless.